I'm glad you could join me today for another Bible class. We're going to have another lesson from God's Word. I want to start by asking you a question. When your mom or dad tells you to do something, do you obey exactly? Do you do exactly what they ask you to do? For example, let's say it's about time to get ready for bed. And mom or dad tells you to go pick up your toys, get your backpack all packed and ready for tomorrow. And here's what you do. You pack your backpack and you go put it by the door. Backpack's all ready. Now you pick up some of your little friends that you've been playing with and a couple of books, and sure enough, you take those and you put those away. Okay, time for bed. Is that obeying exactly? Why is that not exact obedience? Do you have any idea? What did I not do? I didn't put away all of my toys. I put away some of my toys and I took care of my backpack just like I was told. Is that exact obedience? It's not. That's partial obedience. Today, we're going to do a Bible story about a man who obeyed God exactly in everything God told him to do. Before we get into our lesson on Noah, let's review the entire lesson with our song that we did last week. God looked down upon a wicked, wicked world. I will send a worldwide flood, the world it will be swirled. Righteous Noah built an ark according to God's plan. He built it out of gopher wood. God brought the creatures in. 40 days and 40 nights the rain came pouring down. 8 were saved inside the ark. The rest of the world did drown. 1 year and 17 days they stayed inside the ark. It came to rest on Ararat. God dried the waters up. God told Noah to look up to the sky. I'll never flood the world again. The rainbow is my sign. Well, by now you know that we're going to talk more about Noah's Ark and the whole story of the flood and the rain and everything else that went on. Most of the time when we think of Noah's Ark, when we're children, we see toys like this and pictures. We've got the most adorable little elephant that you could ever see. He's just so cute. And there's Noah. He's actually bigger than the door to go inside the ark. Here is a cute little lion. This is a cute, fun little toy that a baby might play with. And you could talk about how God saved all the animals in the ark when it rained. But there's so much more to the story of Noah and the ark than this cute little toy. In fact, that's not the ark. This is the ark. And we're going to talk a little bit more about this huge thing today. In our last lesson, we talked about how God created the earth, and then from the time of creation up until the time Noah was born was 1,056 years. Now, it was going to be 600 more years of Noah's life when the flood started. So now we have 1,056 years to Noah's birth plus 600 years of Noah's life. Now it's 1,656 years since creation. The earth is not millions and millions and millions of years old. No, it's not. We're able to count it in thousands of years. All right, so how did we get from that to this? What happened? Well, in the beginning, Adam and Eve were created and everything was perfect. They got to live with God in this beautiful garden until what? They sinned. They did what was evil in God's sight. They disobeyed God. And they couldn't live with God in the garden anymore. So they were sent out of the garden. And they had children, lots of children. And then more children were born and more children were born. And after a while, there were a lot of people living on the earth. Were those people good? Well, let's see what happens. Chapter 6 of Genesis, verse 5 says, "Then the Lord saw that the wickedness of man was great upon the earth, and that every intent of the thoughts of his heart was evil all the time." So what did God see when he looked at man? He saw wickedness and he saw evil all the time. Even the plans and the intent of people inside in their heart was only evil all the time. There was no hope for anybody to turn back to God anymore. They just didn't want to. How did that make God feel? Well, look at verse 6. "The Lord was sorry that he had made man on the earth, and he was grieved in his heart." This is how God felt. What is wickedness? What is evil? Let's look at these pictures. Here's two men. They're fighting. Are they being kind to one another? Absolutely not. They're doing what is evil in God's eyes. One is being abusive to the other, maybe a bully. I don't know. Now look at this guy sitting in his car. Does he look like he wants to be nice to the person who's taking the picture? No, look at that expression on his face. Look at his fist. He looks like he's ready for a fight. Now, if you're in your car, sometimes we call this road rage, but no matter where you are, if you are wanting to be a bully to someone and abuse someone, that is evil in God's eyes. Look at this picture. There's two men. They are stealing from the third man. Is that evil or is that good? Oh yeah, that's evil. Stealing is wrong. Now look at these pictures. What are these people taking off of the porch? They're taking a package. That package doesn't belong to them. They're stealing it off of somebody's porch. That's wrong. That's wicked. That is sin in God's eyes. Now here's a picture. Here's two big girls. Do they look wicked or mean or naughty or evil? No. But what are they doing that's wrong? They are gossiping. One girl is telling the other girl something really juicy and interesting that she heard about somebody else. It may be true, it may not be true, but we are not supposed to talk to others about things that might hurt somebody when they're not there to defend themselves. That's wrong in God's eyes. That's wicked. That's evil. Genesis 6 verse 6 says, "The Lord was sorry that he had made man on the earth, and he was grieved in his heart." This is how God felt when he looked at all of the people that he had created and how evil they had become. So God decided to do something about it. In verse 7, the Lord said, "I will wipe out man whom I have created from the face of the land, from man to animals to creeping things and to birds of the sky, for I am sorry that I have made them." How was God going to wipe all those people out? With a great big flood. God saw the bad, 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 bad people on earth. Who? People on earth. Who? People on earth. God saw the bad, 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 bad people on earth. Who? God said, "I'll send a flood." But Noah found favor in the eyes of the Lord. This is how the Lord felt when he he saw Noah doing all the things Noah did. Noah was not thinking in his heart about how to do what is evil or wicked all the time. Noah was only interested in what was good, and that made God happy. So God was going to save Noah from his flood, and he was going to give him a very special job to do. You know that that was to build the ark, save some people and save some animals. Noah was good, a righteous man. What? A righteous man. What? A righteous man. Noah was good, a righteous man. What? God saved him from the flood. So, God had it with people who were wicked and evil, who had absolutely no intention of being anything but wicked and evil. And he told Noah to build an ark, and this is how he told him to build it. He said, I want you to make it out of gopher wood. We don't know what gopher wood is. Now, when I'm finished, I'm going to spell out a word up here that's going to tell us how Noah built the ark. I wonder if you can figure it out as we go. So he made it out of gopher wood, and God said, make rooms inside. Why did he need rooms? Well, we know, because there were animals that were going to be in it, and they needed a place to stay. And then he said this, cover it inside and outside with something called pitch or tar. That is a black, sticky substance that makes things waterproof. And he was to coat the wood that this was going to be made out of, this gopher wood, with tar or pitch. What did God tell Noah to do next? Build the ark 300 cubits long. How much is a cubit? A cubit is the measure from the tip of your finger to the elbow. Now, we don't know exactly how long a cubit was before the flood. We know that after the flood, it may have been anywhere from 17 or 18 inches up to about 21 inches. So if we have 300 units or cubits, that would make this thing longer than a football field. A football field is 100 yards long, or 300 feet. This would have been another half of a football field. Look at this picture where you can see the ark compared to a football field. Now, don't count the end zones because we're not using those as a measure. We're just counting the 0-yard line up to the 100-yard line. You can see how big the ark really was. How did Noah make the ark? Our word is going to tell us. Then God said, I want you to make it 50 cubits wide. We think that would have been about 75 feet wide. How high was it going to be? Well, that was what God said next. 30 cubits high. So probably 45 feet, maybe a little more, depending on the size of a cubit. God said, I want you to make an opening at the top of the wall, leaving about a cubit at the top. So there was some kind of a window, an opening, a skylight, some way for fresh air to get in and stale air to get out. This particular model has the window or the opening at the top like this. We don't know exactly what that might have looked like, but we can ask Noah when we get to heaven someday. But how did Noah build the ark? How did he build it? wasn't finished. Next, he said, make a door in the side. Not in the end, in the side. Do you see my door here? And then he said, make 3 decks. We might say 3 stories. So you've got a bottom story, a middle story, and then a top story. How did Noah build the ark? He built it exactly as God commanded him to. Exactly. Chapter 6 says, Noah did all that the Lord commanded him to. Noah obeyed exactly. Can I emphasize that anymore? I don't think so. How do you obey your parents? Do you obey your parents exactly as they ask you to? When you obey your parents, you are obeying God. Let's sing our Noah song one more time, and then that's going to be all for today. And we'll see you next time when we're going to talk more about the animals and how did they all get in this boat? How did they fit? Who went? What kind of animals? There's all kinds of things we're going to be talking about next time. So come back next time. God looked down upon a wicked, wicked world. I will send a worldwide flood, the world it will be swirled. Righteous Noah built an ark according to God's plan. He built it out of gopher wood, God brought the creatures in. 40 days and 40 nights the rain came pouring down. 8 were saved inside the ark, the rest of the world did drown. 1 year and 17 days they stayed inside the ark. It came to rest on Ararat, God dried the waters up. God told Noah to look up to the sky. I'll never flood the world again, the rainbow is my sign.